Think again, pot 25. America has no official language. Suspected witches were hanged in Salem, but not burned. Walt Disney didn't draw Mickey Mouse. It was the work of an animated named UB Ivex. You can't actually see the Great Wall of China from space, and the average effect of sugar on children's behavior is zero. Although Dunning-Kruger effect is often amusing in everyday life, it was no laughing matter in Iceland. Despite serving as governor of the central bank, David Odson had no training in financing or economics. Before entering politics, he had created a radio comedy show, written written plays, and short stories, gone to law school, and worked as a journalist. During his reign as Iceland's prime minister, Oddsson was so dismissive of experts that he disbanded the National Economic Institute. To force him out of his post at the central bank, Parliament had to pass an unconventional law. Any governor would have to have at least a master's degree in economics. That didn't stop Odson from running for the president. A few years later, he seemed utterly blind to his blindness. He didn't know what he didn't know. What I know, things I know, I know. Things I know, things I think I know, things I don't know. Stranded at the summit of Mount Stupid. The problem with armchair quarterback syndrome is that it stands in the way of rethinking. If we're certain that we know something, we have no reason to look for gaps and flaws in our knowledge, let alone fill or correct them. Let alone fill or correct them. In one study, the people who scored the lowest on an emotional intelligence test weren't just the most likely to overestimate their skills, they were also the most likely to dismiss their scores as inaccurate or irrelevant, and the least likely to invest in coaching or self improvement. Yes, some of this comes down to our fragile egos. We are driven to deny our weakness when we want to see ourselves in a positive light or paint a glowing picture of ourselves to others. A classic case is the crooked politician who claims to crusade against corruption, but is actually motivated by willful blindness and social deception. Yes, motivation is only a part of the story. There is a less obvious force that clouds our vision of our abilities, a deficit in metacognitive skill, the ability to think about our thinking. Lacking competence can leave us blind to our own incompetence. If you're a tech entrepreneur, you're uninformed about education systems, you can feel certain that your master plan will fix them. If you're socially awkward and you're missing some insight on social graces, you can strut around, I beg your pardon, you can strut around believing you're James Bond in high school. In high school, a friend told me I didn't have a sense of humor. What made her think that? You don't laugh at all on my jokes. You don't laugh at all my jokes. I'm hilarious, said no funny person ever. I leave it to you to decide who lacked the sense of humor.